How's it going? David from Comic Book Investments. So in this video, we're going to look at 5 keys that are dropping in price by quite a bit. 90% is the top one. So yeah, that sucks. But quite a bit. Anyways, before I do, if you want to win this book over here, this is X-Men 130 and 85. First appearance of the Dazzler. Dazzler is rumored to be played by Taylor Swift in the new Deadpool vs. Wolverine movie. So could it happen? I would see that as the most likely chance, and so you heard it here first. So, but nonetheless, this book has been going up a little bit, and if you want to win it, all you have to do is go to collectorscomics.com, my website, go to the very bottom where you'll see a banner somewhere. It'll be giveaway. All you have to do is click enter, and that's it. Literally just click enter. If you don't have an account, obviously you have to sign up, and we'll take care of the rest, and we'll announce the drawing after the auction. We have an auction going on right now. It ends next week. That's right. Better hurry up and get in your bids because our auction is ending. This is the 10th one that we have. So yeah, on to double digits, and it's pretty cool. So still growing, every single one. So thank you for all the people that get signed, and thank you for all the people that have bid and help support this channel and the auctions. So let's get into the video. All right, first up is we got Ultimate Fallout number 4. This is the first appearance of Miles Morales, and a 9.8. Man, one currently sold for $990. In January alone, it was averaging $13.21. That's down 25%. And then in all of 2023, it was averaging $16.25. That's down 39%. And at its peak, at one point, it was selling for $4,499. That was down 78%. So yeah, I mean, all you have to do is like kind of look at these graphs, and it gives you like an overall picture of what's going on. I did a video. I remember at the height in 2021, people were talking about how Ultimate Fallout was going to reach like a 10K book, because it was selling for, $3,000-$4,000. And it's like, oh, it's going to reach 10K, reach 10. And I did a video. I'm like, it's never going to reach that price. There's just so many out there. And people was like, there's not that many out there. I'm like, I had a print run of 80,000. It's a newer book in terms of like, it's not Silver Age. It's not super old. Most of those books probably still exist. Most of them are all in high grade. And people were like, 80,000 is such a low print run. I'm like, 80,000. Do you have any idea how many that is? 80,000? That is a lot of books that still out there exist in relatively really good shape. They're still being graded all the time, 9.8s all the time, just adding to the census more and more every single day. And 80,000 is a lot because it's not only do you have to find 80,000 people that want the book, that care enough about Miles Morales and want the book, you have to have more than that, so they bid up the price. And you have to even have more than that to people, like say you have 80,000 copies and you have 85,000 fans. Okay, that means 5,000 fans aren't going to get it, so they have to bid up the price. But what if those 5,000 that can't get it, the most they can spend is $10. Now every book just basically goes for $11. So you have to have not only a ton of fans, but then you have to have, those fans have to have a lot of money to boost this thing even higher. And that's where it's falling. They don't have enough. It doesn't have enough fans. There's too many out there. It's not like a Spider-Man, Peter Parker #1 or a Fantasy 15, where there's way less out there and way less even available. There's not that many Fantasy 15s getting graded every single day, especially in the high grade. And there's way more people that are into Fantasy 15 that have money. There's just not that many people that are into Miles Morales that are going to have enough money to boost this thing higher because it's a newer book. So anyone that's probably like 40 years old doesn't really care that much about Miles Morales compared to Peter Parker. Basically you have a very small pool. And now you're probably thinking, oh, okay, once those like 30-year-olds are now like, 60 and your kids are gone and they have all this money, they'll come back. Sure, it'll go up a little bit. But again, there's 80,000. You literally need hundreds and hundreds of millions of fans that have money to boost this book up. That's the problem. With Peter Parker, it came out in 62, 63. So you have 60 years of a fan base. This has like 10, 15 years. I can't remember when it came out, 2009 or 2011, something like that. 10, 15 years of fan base. Yeah, it's not going to happen, especially when your fan base is younger. And there's just a lot of them out there. That's a problem with modern books in general. There are just too many out there that got saved compared to older ones. Nonetheless, this book is going down. I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't see into the future. If I did, I'd be playing the lottery and winning every single time that Powerball hit $1 billion. I think that was the last time I saw it. Just look at the graph, and you can see it's trending down. Just look at the fact that it's been trending down the whole time. You just look at January, so that's why I put in January's averages. It's down 25% since January. So yeah, it's still dropping. It's still dropping. It's not where it was prior to the comic book boom, but it's very close. It is literally about that, almost the comic boom. So just judging by how it's going down, there's nothing on the horizon for Miles Morales to really boost its spirits up. Nothing on the horizon for comics in general to boost it up. So most likely it's going to go down. Now, he does have his Edge of the Spider-Verse 2 or whatever it's called, Across Spider-Verse, something like that, 2, or the third one, the third movie, the part 2 thing. Great movie, by the way. Love it. Fantastic. One of the best movies I've seen in a long time. But that will help it, but that's not on the horizon for a while. So, I mean, but still, it's a $1,000 9.8 modern book. It's still really, really good. Like for a cover A, that's actually fantastic. So, not pretty much, it's better than 99.9999% of all other moderns. Next, we got Captain America #6. So this first appearance from Winter Soldier, a 9.8 recently sold for $170. In January, selling for $192. That is down 11%. In all of 2023, it was averaging $173, so that's only down 2%. And then as peak, it was selling for $850. That's down 80%. So this one's a little different. As you can see that it's kind of stabilized. So obviously, you're always going to have peaks and valleys throughout the different months. But, I mean, it is basically where it was of all 2023. So and if you average out all 2023, you know, we're almost 6 months into this 2024, so it's about the same. So it hasn't really gone down or up. Obviously, in January, it was a good month for this book, and it was selling $192, maybe a little bit of comic news or something like that that came out in January. I know Winter Soldier is in the Thunderbolts, but is not in Captain America 4. So where do I see this book, honestly? This book will be probably... I think it could drop to like a 150 mark. I think you can see some books in the 150. I think that's what will stabilize, something like that. It'll be like a 150 to like 250 book in the future. That's where it's going to be. All right, next we got Marvel Spotlight #5. This is the first appearance of the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider. It's not the first of that appearance of the real Ghost Rider, the first Ghost Rider. That is in Tim Holt 11. And a 7.0, one currently sold for $15.96. In January is averaging about 1,600, so not really down minuscule of a percent. In 2023, averaged 1,780, that's down 10%, and then it peaked at 4,180, that's down 62%. So it's pretty much been stabilized for at least the last 6 months, down just slightly from all of 2023 average, obviously down from its peak. Now, I picked this grade 7.0 because it kind of represents what's going on overall. Now, some of the grades are still dropping lower. Like I've seen like the smaller grades, like a 4.0 and stuff like that, still dropping more than, you know, this one, last 6 months, 0%. But then I've seen, you know, higher grades go up a little bit more in their last 6 months. So this kind of represents kind of all of it, what's going on, where it's kind of, it looks like it's stabilizing as a book as a whole. So maybe the worst is definitely behind it on this book, but maybe it's kind of sit here for a bit and see what's kind of going on. So I think for now, even if you look at this graph, you can see that like it's pretty much straight. Last 6 months is straight, just like, but it hasn't really moved up at all. Down or up, no slant, no nothing. And I feel like that's what this book is at right now. It's kind of, I don't think this book is going to really drop much more, even if like bad news. I don't just in general, I don't think this book is going to drop much more. I think it's going to stabilize right here. I think it's kind of, this is its floor. Not saying that different grades are going to go lower than their last 6 months average or stuff like that, but overall, I think this is kind of its floor for now. I'm not saying that the ceiling all of a sudden is going to go sky high, you know, anytime soon, but yeah. Next, we got Vengeance #1, first appearance of America Chavez. She was in the Doctor Strange 2 movie. A 9.8 currently sold for $200. In January, it's selling for $325. That was down 38%. And in 2023, it's averaging $420, down 53%. And at its peak, it's selling for $2,000. That's down 90%, quite a bit. It is below what it was pre-comic book boom. So, yeah. And to be honest, it shows no signs of slowing down. Look at the 325 for January. Now, that was kind of a little boost up of a month, but overall, it's still dropping. Like, there's no real signs of it slowing down at all. Expect this book to drop even more. This character was a flash in the pan. She will be soon forgotten in general, overall. there's lots of characters that are popular at one point that, even get their own series, all sorts of stuff that then 10, 20, 30 years later, they're, they fade away and they just become a side character. I mean, at one point, the Fantastic Four main comic book got canceled and there was no new Fantastic Four comic books coming out. And so these kind of, they've dropped the value, but overall, they've come back and new writers and stuff like that. So a side character like this, I can just see this book continuing to drop. The cover's cool. But $200, I think, is still too high. I think this book will be around a $100 book in a 9.8 in the next year or so. I think it's just gonna hover around the sub 9, at 90 to maybe 150. It's gonna sit in that range, and I think that's where it'll sit for a long time and pretty much just stay there. All right, next is Invincible Iron Man number 9. First full appearance of Riri Williams Ironheart. A 9.8 recently sold for $107. In January, selling for $123. That's down 13%. And then in 2023, selling for $220. That's down 51%. And then as peak is selling for $1,000. That's down 89%. And it's still continuing to drop. It is way below what it used to be selling for pre-Comic Book Boom. I think pre-Comic Book Boom is selling in the $150 to $200 mark, and now it's obviously down to $107. This book is... Riri Williams is not a popular enough character to warrant 2 first appearances because it's basically like Hulk 180 and Hulk 181 with Invincible Iron Man 7 and Invincible Iron Man 9, and this character is not popular enough to basically spread out its love between 2 books. That, so to speak. So, yeah, this one, honestly, it's gonna. So a book. So the case cost. Case cost is $50. That's basically if you had a brand new book, and you want to send it to a Modern or something like that, and you want to send it, or, it doesn't have to be a Modern, any grade, year range, and you want to send it to CGC to get it graded. You're gonna spend about $50. $50. That's shipping there, shipping back, insurance, grading fees, all that stuff. So that is case cost. This book is going to be slightly above case cost just because it has some notoriety to it. It's not like Invincible Iron Man 10 or 11 or 12, 13, whatever. It has no notoriety, really. No keyness to it. This one will probably sit slightly above case cost, and that's where it's always going to kind of sit. So slightly above, it's going to be the 75 to 125 mark. That's where it's going to sit. So, sure, it's going to drop a little more and kind of just sit there and stay there. I would not, if you love the book, obviously buy the book, but if you think this is going to blow up anytime soon or ever, it's not going to. This will just stay there forever and ever and ever. I don't see Riri Williams Ironheart even existing in 10 years' time. 10 years from now in comic books, definitely not movies and comic books, she might appear randomly as some random side character in the background or an off story here and there, but yeah, just won't exist. That is it. Remember, head over to collectorscomics.com to get this giveaway and check out our auction. Have a good day.